I grew up in like a Big Lots part of the United States. Do you guys know what Big Lots is? Yeah? Who doesn't? Who doesn't know what Big Lots is? I'm gonna explain it to you guys, and congratulations. You lucky bastards. I'm gonna explain Big Lots to you. Imagine Kmart in the middle of a divorce. That's Big Lots. It's like an unshowered Kmart. You woke up, you know? Like you walk in and you're like, are you open? And it goes, your dad took the shelves. We're a piles and bins family now. Dig around. That's Big Lots slogan if you don't know. Dig around. You want a DVD? Check the spoon aisle. I don't know. This was a yard sale till someone built a prison around it.
I was in Iowa, and I was doing a show, and there was a bunch of farmers in the crowd, and I don't know anything about farming. So I asked this guy, I go, what do you farm? He goes, beans? And I said, like green beans? And they all started laughing at me like I was the dumbest person they'd ever met. He thinks we go green beans in Iowa. Oh, that's a good one there, green bean. Green beans in Iowa, don't that beat all? This fella is a comedian, I'll tell you. It was soybeans, all right, it was soybeans. I didn't know. By the way, green beans, that's not that ridiculous of an answer. That's a real food. I've eaten them before. I didn't say jelly beans, okay? I said a legitimate vegetable. I don't know what the plants look like. I mean, I know corn. Like, I know corn. Like, I could pick corn out of a lineup, but past that, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I get confused. I'm like, is that a potato tree? I can't tell. I'm not sure. Like, you should be nice to people when they don't know something. That's how I was brought up. You know, I live in the suburbs of St. Louis. I hope one of those farm guys comes to the suburbs sometime. Maybe I won't be so nice to him. I'll take him and do like some, suburb stuff or whatever. I'll take him to the Texas Roadhouse. He won't know what to do there. Where's the bowl for the peanut shells? You throw them on the floor, dummy. Ah, ha, ha. You don't know what to do in the suburbs, you stupid bean picker. I'll take him to Starbucks. I'll take a large coffee. It's called Venti here. Venti, dirt digger. Don't be ordering beans either. They got beans here, but they're coffee beans. Arabica, Robusta, no soy. Then the barista will be like, well, technically, we have soybeans in soy lattes. And I'll be like, you shut your mouth, hippie. All right, you don't take sides against your own kind. We're on the same team. So I told that story later, and this lady came up to me after the show. She goes, hey, I'm a farmer. She goes, don't feel bad about the beans. She goes, I met this guy the other day. He didn't know the difference between field corn and sweet corn. Ha 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 ha. What a dummy. Yeah, you know how earlier when I said I know corn? I don't. They're like, there's two different kinds. I'm like, yeah, on the cob and not on the cob. They're like, no, it's field and sweet. I'm like, oh, sweet. You're talking about kettle corn. I've had it. Yeah. So if you don't know the difference between field corn and sweet corn, field corn, that's what they grind up and they feed to the animals. And sweet corn, that's what we eat. And once they explain it, it's very easy to remember because field corn is grown in a field, whereas sweet corn is grown in a field. So you can see these farmers make it real easy to understand their stuff. When I was in Iowa, I went to the restaurant, and on the front page of the menu, it said, we make our own ketchups. They were bragging about their homemade ketchup. Honestly, I'm not sure that I knew ketchup was made. I think I thought that was an element. I thought that was K on the periodic table. It turns out that's potassium, which makes no sense at all. There's not even a K in that word. What, now you're gonna tell me RN is not for ranch dressing? Why don't you take a science class? I tried one of their homemade ketchups. It was not good. Now, granted, I think it was field ketchup, but...
Sweating a little bit tonight. When you're big, you don't need a reason to sweat. You don't, right? My friends cannot grab a hold of this concept. They come up to me all the time. Jeez! The hell, what you do? You jumping rope in the attic? No, I peeled an orange. About an hour ago. Why? What's up? What's up? I love air conditioning. I had it growing up. I had an air conditioner growing up, but I had one of those dads who wouldn't use it all the time. Very selective. How about today, Dad, please? No. They break out that big oscillating fan for the whole family. What a horrible invention that is. It's like waiting for a bus, right? Oh, man, when is that cold air gonna get here? Boy, that was refreshing, right? That felt good. I wasn't ready! This annoyed me. I was on the phone with somebody today trying to get a phone number from that person and write it down, but they didn't have phone number rhythm, and that pissed me off. I'm talking about phone number rhythm, especially if there's like an area code involved, like 212, bum bum ba, bum ba, bum ba. That is the rhythm I think we're all familiar with. This guy had no clue. I was like, okay, Hank, give me the number. He's like, all right, it's 2129. Fifteen, 8, 11, 6, 4, 2, 5, 8, 7, 2. Did you throw in your zip code? Because I got a lot of extra numbers over here. I have extra. I can almost start a new number. What do you got? Start again from the top. They really screw you up on the last 4 numbers. That's where they get you. Right? 555 6 41. Dude, I already wrote the 6. I made the dash too close. I can't shimmy the 1 in there now. Forget you. You know what else annoys me? People leaving slow-ass, boring messages on my machine. Unbelievable. Yeah, you come home late at night, you got to go to the bathroom, you're like, oh, look at this, I got a message. Oh, this could be important. I better check it out now. Boop. Hey. Kevin, how's it going, man? It's Tim Duffy from work. What's going on, man? Anyways, give me a call back if you get a chance. I will be, well, you know what? If you call at 9:15, I should be back. Actually, anything after 9:18, I'll be home. Give me a call. I'm at 631-775. This is great. Now I got to play the whole Tim Duffy message again. From the top to try to get the number at 100 miles an hour. That's fun when you're hunched over your machine with like an index card and a little pen. I got nothing on that pass. I got absolutely nothing. I got nothing. I got a 6, 4 blanks, a 4, and then I'm out. I'm out again. I don't know what to do. I got a freaking G. I got a G. Timmy gave me a G. So many things like that annoy me. This annoyed me too, because little things will make me happy as well. You know, like I was going through, I think it was like a Taco Bell. It was late at night, and I'm going through the drive-thru, and the guy was like, okay, 712, pull around. And I got excited because I had exact change. Something like that'll make me happy. But then I went to hand it to him, and I dropped a dime between the seats. I was like, mother! Now I gotta do this move for 20 minutes? Oh, man. Oh, come on, man. Oh, come on. Oh, I can see the freaking ridges. I can see them. Sir, you're gonna have to pull up. I'm gonna have to tell you to shut up, Anthony.
Well, a lot of you have been thinking it, so I'll just say it. Yes, I have been going to the gym. And, I got a very expensive gym membership. It's the most I've ever paid for a gym membership, but you have to invest in yourself. I think someone tweeted that. And so I go into the gym to check it out, and the woman's showing me around. She goes, first floor is all weights, second floor is cardio equipment, third floor is yoga studios and a steam room. And then she told me the price. And I go, which floor do you go to declare bankruptcy? Because I'm probably gonna have to do that at some point. And like a good salesperson, she pivoted. She goes, what's your fitness goal? I go, for this much money, it's Thor. I would like to be half man, half God. I would like to have a hammer that I also use as a weapon. So I do a one-day trial, and I'm in the steam room trying to sweat out some of my poverty. And I start talking to a guy in the steam room. We're having a great conversation. And at the end of the conversation, he goes, I'm gay. And I go, that's cool, man. I am a straight. Then he goes, I can flip you. And then I go, I think we have different fitness goals. Mine is to be Thor. I'm looking to be Thor. But you guys are really putting me in a good mood. I got some bad news today. I found out my favorite Italian restaurant is closing, Chuck E. Cheese. And guys, Charles Edward Cheese has decided to close his doors. I like the Chuck E. Cheese business model. They opened up, they're like, look, we have rats. Now, we could call an exterminator, but that's gonna cost a lot. What do you say we just lean into this thing? Let's get a rat, let's make him our spokesperson. Get him on stage, get him in a band, get him cranking out some hits. Charles Edward Cheese. That's his Christian name, Charles Edward Cheese. Somebody actually wrote me an email that said, it's Charles Entertainment Cheese. That's what the E stands for. I'm just letting you know. I'm like, wow, you have a lot of time on your hands, man. You're correcting for the love of Charles Edward Cheese. It's funny when you argue with somebody, I'm like, no, it's Edward. Edward is just crazy. He's like, no, it's Charles Entertainment, look it up. And I go, I did. And it's Edward. Just I had a roommate for years and years, and I loved him, but he's on drugs. And we're hanging out one night, and he goes, do you like the Grateful Dead? I go, no. He goes, well, have you ever seen them live? I go, why would I see them live if I don't like any of their songs? He's like, you gotta see them live, dude, you gotta see them live. I'm like, why? Because you get trashed and you go see them live? I would rather drop acid and go to Chuck E. Cheese. Have you ever seen that band live? You haven't lived till you see a rat rip a guitar solo, okay? I'm talking Charles Edward Cheese. I'm Italian American and I live in New York, and one of my passions, stand-up comedy's my job, but one of my passions before the dark times was to go from city to city around this great country and tell people in these different cities that they have terrible pizza. It's awesome, guys. And it weirdly hurts people's feelings. And I can work it into any conversation. I was in Baltimore, I'm coming down in an elevator, I'm talking to this woman, she goes, oh, you live in New York City? How did you enjoy our aquarium I'm like, lady, I don't know anything about your aquarium, but your pizza is terrible. She goes, what's wrong with it? And that gives you a pathway to insult their entire town. I'm like, first of all, miss, in order to have good pizza, you need good water. You guys don't have it. And maybe you're using all of your good water in your aquarium, but you're not using it in your pizza because it sucks. Your toppings are bad. Do you have any Italians in this town who could make a pizza? Anyone who could read a recipe? Do you have anyone in this town who could read? Do you guys have schools? It's a new thing sweeping the country called schools. Then I'll compare the town negatively to another town close by. I'll go, look, I was just in Cleveland. That's not great pizza, but it's not this dog crap. It's pretty fun, guys. You guys are a great crowd because you're getting my jokes, you know? A lot of people don't get my jokes. Not a lot, some. You know, some crowds don't get it. And if there's a joke in everyday life, I'll make it. You know who does not appreciate my unique sense of humor? Chinese customs. Because I went to China before the dark times. And they were like, why are you coming to China? And I was like, to feel tall? No, I ended up in a work camp for quite some time. I dropped my phone in the toilet in China, and that's actually the best place to drop your phone in the toilet, you know, because of all the rice. But I wouldn't put it in white rice, I put it in brown rice because of my commitment to diversity. Diversity, guys, that's the name of the game in show business now. My manager calls me up. He's like, Mike, is there anything in your background that could give us some much needed diversity? I go, well, I'm 100% Italian. Does that help? He goes, actually, that hurts us a lot. So if you could not mention that again, that would be a big help. Then he's like, what about what's going on inside of you? Is there any diversity there? I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, with your feelings. Like, sometimes do you feel like a woman that is trapped inside of a man's body? Because that's a story we could tell. I'm like, no, that's not really happening. But I was born C-section. So I was a man who was trapped inside of a woman's body. I don't know if that counts. I don't know if that makes... Am I a hero? Am I a hero? Anyway, I got my phone working in China again. And my Chinese tour guide was like, Mike, how are you enjoying China? I'm like, it's pretty good, but your pizza is terrible. And I was like, you know who has a pretty good slice? Korea. It's not great, but it's not this dog crap. Fine, guys, what's my immigration policy? Is that what you want to know? 90-day fiance. I say, if you want to come to this country, that's fine, but you have to marry one of our worst people. Have you seen that show? I would rather go back to El Salvador and fight MS-13 than to marry Darcy from Connecticut. I'm pro-immigrant. I came from immigrants, you know. But I notice in New York, the immigrants from the small countries, Eastern Bloc, Central America, they yell into their phones. They're always yelling. Yelling is toxic and problematic. I don't know if you guys know that or not. It's no longer ethnic. But they're yelling into their phones, and I can't help but think, that's probably why you were asked to leave your country. Country is so small, and you're yelling. The cops were probably like, you need to go to a bigger land, more suited to your voice inflection. But I think we're good people in this country. I think it's a lot of good people, you know? It's, I think the problem, the big divide in this country, is that we're all looking at the same thing from different perspectives. It's perspective. For example, I'm a huge boxing fan. I love all kinds of boxing. And I was watching this one fight. It was a female fighter, and her brother was the promoter. And they were interviewing her, and they're like, how did you start fighting? And it's a tragic story. She goes, when I was young, I watched my father hit my mother. I was too weak to do anything about it, so I learned to fight, and it never happened again. I'm like, wow, that's pretty powerful. Then I thought, but the brother, the promoter, grew up in the same home. So he must have saw the same thing and thought to himself, I can sell tickets to this.
Another thing I've learned living in the South is the bugs are bigger. Y'all got some Nashville geographic stuff happening here. Like in California, we have bugs, but our bugs are killing. Then I get to Nashville. I went to get in my shower one morning. There was a spider in my shower. Now this spider was so big, I thought I was interrupting him. I did. I went to open the shower curtain. I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't know anybody was in here, my bad. He was big and he was furry too. Yeah, I didn't know if I should brush it or smush it. I didn't know. He was so furry, he had dander. Ew. I need my Zyrtec pill just for the spider dander. I was like, sir, the Head and Shoulders is right there. Help yourself. If I ever have to kill a spider that big, I am morally conflicted. Because at that point, that's a pet. Put a collar on that thing, that's Bubba. Bubba had plans that day. He was just getting started, he's in the shower. That's messed up. If you ever have to kill a spider that big, you could hear the crunch. And if you hear the crunch, you know that thing had a soul. That's messed up. I used to kill any spider or bug that was around me because I don't like bugs at all. But over the past couple of years, I have this newfound respect for nature and insects. So now, if I ever see a spider in my house, what I like to do is scoop it up in a container, take it outside, throw it in a bush, and then immediately go like this. But if I'm left with no choice, and I have to kill a spider, I now like to start with an apology. Listen, sir. I know you weren't expecting this today. I'll be honest, neither was I. Truth is, I don't know you. You could be poisonous and you could kill me. So at this point, it's either me or you. And I have chosen you. There was this one night, I was home alone, by myself. Because that's what home alone means. And I was watching The Night Stalker. Did you guys see that one? The documentary about the serial killer that was in Southern California, like back in the 80s. So I'm home alone watching this show, super creepy. Episode's done, I turn the TV off, and all of a sudden, I hear this on my front window. I said, nope. I ran to my room. I put on every piece of clothing that I own. I said, if he's gonna try to assault me, he's gonna have to work real hard. I don't have no weapons in the house. What's my self-defense weapon? Denim, 3 pair. After a while, nobody came in the house, but I kept hearing the noise. Finally, I go to the window, I move the curtain, I look outside, and it's not a psychopath trying to kill me. It was a mosquito. the size of a bald eagle. Or maybe it was a cicada. I don't know. I never seen a cicada in my life, but everybody kept telling me, oh, it's cicada season. Maybe it was one of those. Maybe it was a mix of both. Maybe it was a muscada. I don't know. Some Nashville Geographic stuff happening. This was the kicker for me, though. There was one night I was driving home, and I'm pulling into my driveway, and what do I see? A snake slithering across. That's where I draw the line right there. That's where I was like, all right, you know what, Nashville? Bless your heart. This is getting ridiculous. I'm not a big fan of wild snakes. Pet snakes, I'm okay with. Like if there was a snake right here and he came with a cosigner, like he came with a guy that was like, oh yeah, that's my pet, he's cool. I like that snake, that's a good snake. Him? I don't know him. He probably had that snake since he was a baby. He probably just ate a baby. Pet snakes, I'm okay with. Like, you know how sometimes you go to a real touristy area and there'll be that one guy with like 100-pound snake around his neck, and he's just walking around. He's like, yeah, you want to take a picture with my snake? I'm like, I'll do it. He's like, all right, $20. Yeah, I don't need no picture. But the point is, I was down. I was gonna do it if it was free. Because free is my love language.
During 2020, I had a lot of free time, like a lot. And I wanted to use it to better myself in some way. And I didn't. Like, I worsened myself quite a bit. I'm not responsible. I lose stuff. If there's an important document, I don't have it. I'm a constant disappointment to the DMV. Sir, do you have your social security card? I haven't seen that in 30 years. Sir, it's an important document. Well, then you guys shouldn't have printed it on a gum wrapper, okay? At least the passport people made a book out of their thing. It's got pages and a cover, and yes, I lost that one too, but I shouldn't have. Sir, do you have your birth certificate? My birth certificate? That document is 54 years old. I also don't have the Declaration of Independence. You can get a new birth certificate. You know, you just got to write to the state. But you can get one. I lose them all the time. I'm like, can I just get a book of 50? Is there a birth certificate of the month club or something I could join? Then they start with the car questions. Do you have a title for your car? I never thought of one. The sedan with a plan. My friend told me if you get the vaccine, that's the government's way of putting a chip inside of you. If that's the case, like, I'm very grateful. I mean, that's going to make the DMV a better place for everybody. Sir, we need to see your paperwork. I'm pretty sure it's in here. I got my shot in my left arm. Just get your chip reader out. It's back there. Yeah, it'll beep like a metal detector. I think if I could ask a favor while you're in there, I forgot my Apple ID. If you could look it up. I tried 3 times and they locked me out, and irresponsible. I'm not a good driver. I hit stuff. Cars, primarily. And I spend a lot of money on insurance, but I use it. I mean, my friend was like, Greg, I've never been in one accident in my entire life. I'm like, well, how do you know your insurance works? Like, mine works overtime, you know? Like, I pay a lot. I should pay a lot, but I want more from my insurance company. First of all, they say they're going to send you an insurance card. Stop calling it a card. It's a piece of paper, okay? I want a card. $3,500 I gave you guys last year. You can afford to send me a card. At least laminate the card. The library laminates their cards. I don't think the whole library system made $3,500 last year. They don't send you a card. They send you a piece of paper, and it's got a dotted line on it with a picture of a scissors. No, you cut it. I'm not cutting it. Not for $3,500. You can hire a couple of cutters up there for that kind of money. And if I do cut it, I'm not cutting on that stupid line. I'll cut whatever shape happens to come out. The cop's gonna be like, can I see your insurance? Swan? Is that a swan? Is that what that is, sir? Did you make a swan, son? If you get a piece of paper in the mail and it's got a picture of a scissors on it, just know you're doing business with some greedy dirtbags. At least back in the day, they did a thing called perforation. Perforation. Remember that? That was their way of saying, hey, we're not going to cut it, but we'll get you started. You know, it was a fair deal. Each side gave a little bit. You felt like you were being treated like a customer. There is no more perforation. It doesn't exist. The only thing left that's perforated is toilet paper, and I'm telling you right now, if Charmin starts putting scissor pictures on their product, I'm going to have a real problem with that. Yeah. That's where I draw the line. And I'm not talking about a dotted line. Somebody in here is old enough to remember they would give you a card. Every 6 months, the insurance company would send you a plastic card. It looked like a credit card. You put it in your wallet, you felt like a man. Now if I get pulled over, I have to unfold a little piece of paper. It looks like a note from my mom. Like, please excuse Gregory from any bad driving. He lacks concentration, but he's a nice boy. There's a note from my dad at the bottom. He doesn't lack concentration, Colleen. He lacks brains. He's an idiot. He can't drive. They're just greedy. They're greedy, you know. Hey, this is Stan in finance, and I was running the numbers, and we only made $178 billion last year. We're going to have to save some money somewhere. Here's what I'm going to do. No more plastic. Send them paper. Put a scissor picture on there. They think they're doing a craft project. Then, a couple years later, hey, it's Stan, I got a better idea. Don't send them paper. Send them an email. They can use their own paper. Pretty soon it's going to be like, hey, if they want a card, tell them type something up, write the word insurance on the back of a bonnet paper towel. We don't care. We already got their money. Tell them it's for the environment. I read my car insurance card. On the front of it, it says, do not discuss the fault of an accident with anybody except for the police or your insurance agent. And I remembered it, but I got it mixed up with my health insurance card. I was at the doctor. He's like, what's wrong? I'm like, I'm not telling you nothing. I'm not talking. You guys are great. You guys are awesome. So I didn't used to do this. Like this wasn't my job, you know. I was in the peanut butter game. You think that's funny, man? I guess you've never heard a little thing called lunch. Like, I was part of that. Like, I sold Jif. I sold Jif peanut butter, right? Yeah. There's a reason why we're doing this special in Lexington, Kentucky. Jif is made here. Yeah. Jif is the best peanut butter, okay? It's the best peanut butter. Our motto was, choosy moms, choose Jif. Choosy moms, not all moms, okay? Let's say maybe your mom who drinks in the afternoon and goes to the casino and forgets to pick up your kids from school. If that's the case, by all means, buy Peter Pan, okay? That's a better product for you, all right? Like, Peter Pan, come on. Their mascot is a boy who refused to grow up. Maybe he couldn't grow up because he was malnourished, because he was eating that garbage peanut butter named after a cartoon character. Peter Pan can fly because he has hollow bones. There's no nutrients in Peter. Now listen, I'm gonna talk a lot about peanut butter, okay? It's an important subject, but I need to address something up top. It's been a rough year for Jif, okay? If you guys don't know what happened, we had a problem. Some people, barely any, like 14, got some salmonella, okay? And they traced it back to Jif, okay? And Jif did the right thing. They pulled it off the shelves nationwide. They pulled it all off, and I feel bad about it. I mean, I didn't do it, all right? But like, I wish I could go back 20 years when I worked there and say, like, hey, if you guys are thinking about coming up with some sort of a raw chicken flavored peanut butter, don't. Like, it's a bad idea, you know, like. And just so you know, like, that happened in 2006 with Peter Pan. They had the same thing, you know. They had a recall, salmonella. Just this year, Skippy had some metal particles in their peanut butter, and they had to pull it off the shelves. And you guys are like, well, Greg, it's never happened with organic peanut butter. Yeah, that's because they've only sold like 30 jars of that stuff, right? You know what I'm talking about? The organic peanut butter? It's got like an inch of oil on the top of it. Looks like a science project on the grocery shelves. You know, well, Greg, that's how peanut butter naturally settles. Well, then cover it up. Nobody wants to see that. Yeah? Greg, your peanut butter has preservatives in it. That's why it doesn't do that. Yeah, that's exactly why it doesn't do that. Yeah? Maybe we're trying to preserve people's appetites, right? Like, Greg, you just take a knife and you stir the jar and the oil goes away. Oh, now I'm supposed to help you make the peanut butter? Why don't you just hand me a bag of peanuts and a hammer next time? I'll smash them up myself. Me eater, you maker. Now listen, there's probably somebody out there, and you know, your mom made you eat organic peanut butter when you were growing up. If that's the case, obviously, you were homeschooled. You know, yeah. That's why you're homeschooled. Your mom did not want you to go to school and sit next to the Jif kid and have that kid be like, hey, there's another way to live. You know, like, and maybe you're a parent, okay? Maybe you're a parent and you force your child to eat organic peanut butter. And if that's the case, I'm not gonna tell you how to raise your own kid. I am gonna gently suggest that you at least expose them to some different peanut butter, you know, before you send them off into the world. Because I don't know if you've ever seen an organic peanut butter kid go off the deep end. It is not pretty. Okay, these kids, they spend 18 years eating it, then they go off to college. They have one bite of a Jif sandwich. 6 weeks later, they're passed out on a park bench with Nutter Butters all over their face. We got a lot of that business at Jif. We didn't want it. That's blood money right there. We took it. But, you know. Now, the company that I work for was called Procter & Gamble, okay? They don't own Jif anymore. You know who owns Jif? Smuckers. Smuckers owns peanut butter and jelly. If these guys ever get a hold of bread. Now the government will step in. That's an illegal monopoly. That's Sherman antitrust, I think. I mean, you can't own a whole sandwich. This country was founded on principles. Right? But, I mean, I'll be honest. I was a big deal, you know, in the. Ma'am, I was, all right? Like, I was a big deal in the peanut butter game, okay? I was part of some stuff that I'm sure you'll remember. I was part of the team that launched the first low salt, low sugar peanut butter into the category. It was called Simply Jif. It was targeted towards diabetics. I wanted to call it Type 2 peanut goo, but... I liked it, you know. I always felt guilty because we charged the same for crunchy as we did for creamy, which, if you think about it, the crunchy, like, We didn't finish making that. If you went to the plant, the crunchy guys are probably getting off work at noon, and the creamy guys are still smashing up peanuts at 5:30. The savings should have been passed on to you, and I still lose sleep over it. I'm a purist, I'll just tell you right now. I'm a peanut butter purist. I think there should be creamy and crunchy, and that's about it, you know? Like, there's a lot of new flavors in peanut butter. They're getting fancy. I don't care for it. Like Peter Pan has honey roasted peanut butter. If I know those guys, they're just grinding up bees and stirring them in there. Like, and I mean, even Jif, my company, they're doing some stuff I don't care for. I mean, they're getting fancy. They have an Omega Jif. Omega Jif. Omega, that's fish oil. They're putting fish in peanut butter, and they're wondering how they got salmonella. Like, what kind of fish was it? Salmon, maybe? What? Are you guys not seeing what I'm seeing here? Like, I mean, I know a lot of stuff. I mean, just so you know, like the main size in peanut butter, that's 18 ounce, okay? That's where the deals are. That's where the wars are fought. That's where we go head to head, you know? There's a 28 ounce, there's a 40 ounce, but the deals are, they're 18 ounce. And like, if you went to Kroger right now and you bought an 18 ounce jar of Jif, it would probably cost you about $3.19. You know, back to school, maybe 2 for $3. If that happens, stock up. It's not coming around for another year. All right? Like, I ran a deal one time, Columbus, Ohio, 200 Kroger stores, 18 ounce Jif, 99 cents. Yeah, I did that. It'll never happen again. Never. Even the bad moms bought Jif that week. Mama, this peanut butter tastes better. Don't get used to it, boy. I ain't giving up cigarettes and I ain't giving up Red Bull. So when it's gone, it's gone. That was a unchoosy mom. Like, I'm sure you've all seen an unchoosy mom at the grocery store, right? Like yelling at their kid or something. Like, choosy, I wasn't choosy when I met your daddy. I ain't about to start with no peanut butter. You better put that brand name peanut butter back on the shelf, or I might choose to leave you in the parking lot. Like I did your brother. You didn't know you had a brother, did you?
When we first got to Nashville, we were trying to figure out what part of the city we wanted to live in. Like, where do we fit in? Where do we vibe with? Finding out this county has good schools, this county doesn't. This county believes in COVID, this county doesn't. Where do we fit? And I would tell my friends, I'd be like, hey, I want to live somewhere where I could get a lot of land. And they're like, okay, you want to head south. I'm like, okay, cool. But I also don't want my neighbor to be racist, so how far south? You know what I mean. Like, are we talking Franklin or Pulaski? Like, how far? Because when you get to the deep, deep south, it's scary. I've seen movies. I'm not trying to do that. I mean, if they have a TJ Maxx there, I will pray about it. And I'm a good neighbor. Like State Farm, I'm there. I love my neighbors. I'm the one that has everybody's phone number. And if I haven't seen you in a while, I will send you a text. Are you good? Do I need to do a welfare check? I got your back. Because I love my neighbors. Every holiday season, I'm gonna get my neighbors a gift. Not the whole neighborhood, just the houses I can see from a front window. Because I love my neighbors, as long as they love me. And I know that's not how the Bible verse goes. But that is my interpretation. This is not the New King James Version. This is a new Queen Anjelah version. This is Anjelah 5:14. do unto me as you want to get done. That's how you say amen in my Bible. You could come to my Bible study. It's on Tuesdays. Learning a lot. One thing I learned right out the gate is allergies are a whole different beast in the South. Because when I live in Los Angeles, we don't really get all the seasons. We get summer and fire. So Zyrtec works just fine there. Then I get here, come to find out, Zyrtec lost their subscription or something. It did not work. One day I went to pour the Zyrtec pill in my hand and the wind just blew it off. It was like, don't bother. It's so fun waking up every morning playing COVID or allergies. You guys know that game? Where you wake up in the morning and your sinuses are doing a weird thing, and you're like, wait a minute, hold on. Am I dying or did I have dairy? Can I taste anything? Get me some peanut butter. Can I taste? I was actually really lucky. For the first 2 years, I did not get COVID at all. And then earlier this year, she got me, little hoe. She gets around that one. At this point, I know more people who have had it than who have not had it. I know people who've had it with no symptoms whatsoever, and I know people personally who have passed away from it. So my heart goes out to anybody here who has lost somebody from COVID. I've been tested for it many times, and the first time I got tested, my friends tried to warn me about it. They were like, yo, it's intense. And it actually wasn't that bad, probably because they let me do it myself. Yeah, they gave me the Q-tip. And they're like, okay, you want to go all the way in your sinuses? And I was like, okay. Sure. How about I just put it in my nostril and I wiggle it a lot? Can you test boogers? I'll give you some of those. The second time I got COVID tested, the nurse did it, and he went all the way up in there to where like my eyelids started closing. I was like, whoa, you're manually closing my eyelid. He's like, it's not that far up there. I was like, nah, bro, you're in my brain. Like, you're giving basic commands at this point. Like, if I punch you, it's not my fault, you did it. He's like, well, I'm sorry. I was like, no, don't apologize. Just while you're up there, do you mind scraping out some of my childhood trauma? That'd be great. Could you imagine if that was a real option? Get your childhood trauma scraped out with a COVID test. You'd catch me at the CVS pharmacy drive-thru like once a week. They're like, can we help you? Hi, I'm here for my COVID test. Also, when I was 8, my mom forgot me at the store.